What's going on, you guys? Gaming Addict here. Well, Lord Addict, man. We doing another Addict Show. I got my co-host with me. This is the Addict Show for those of you that don't know. I don't know why you'd be here if you don't know. Where we talk about the past, present, and future of gaming. It's like I said, I got my co-host with me, Hustle and Motivate. What you doing, Hustle?
Whole lot of work behind me, as you see. Just getting my setup and stuff together. And I didn't want to look like a complete slob today, so the green screen will be up partially of the way, part of the way. Y'all see different little things behind me. A lot of stuff is in the motion. A lot of stuff is in the work. Addict, you already know that.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, man, I'm good. I feel good. I feel good about today's topics. The news, like, we finally saw something in reference to Starfield, but we'll get to that soon enough. How about yourself, man? How you doing?
Man, I ain't gonna lie. I just woke up like an hour ago. I was sitting there, man. I was like, man, it's already 5. Like, it was a rough moment, man. But I'm up now. Partially. I'm up now, partially. What have you been playing, Hustle? I'm kind of curious what you've been playing.
Ooh, I got a really good answer for that. I have been continuing my journey in Elden Ring. I have been doing that. I played and beat Disney's Aladdin on the Super Nintendo. If you have not played it, it's one of Capcom's finest creations, and I encourage you to do so. Just go ahead and emulate it. I'm not going to say you will, because I don't want to get me and myself or the squad caught up. But you can just go ahead and emulate it. It's a cool game, man. The Super Nintendo version and the Sega Genesis version, because there's 2 different versions made by 2 different companies. And I feel like they offer, different perspectives on each one. Addict, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Richard Branson.
No.
He is the owner of Virgin. You remember back in the day, they used to have like Virgin Mobile cell phones, Virgin Mobile record label, and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he owns that. I'm not sure if he owned the company. I mean, he owns the company that made it, but I'm not sure what he had to do with gaming back then. But like, he owned like everything. That boy, he got a private island. No cap. He really got a private island.
A private island.
He literally had a private island. It's on MTV Cribs. You can look that up. But anyway. So a lot of that stuff was in. Yeah, I'm in my retro bag, man. So I went back and I played it and I beat it. But it's fun though. It's super fun.
I don't really do the Metro stuff, and you know that.
Yeah.
But I hope you enjoyed it.
oh, for sure. I love that game as a kid. I ran back through it, and it's too much fun. I promise you, it's too much fun.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of triangle strategy. I think I'm coming close to the end of that game. Like, people were kind of like questioning the fact that I said it's probably not worth the money that you invest into it. Like, look, I'm not saying the game's a great game. It's just that's still $60, and if you look at that, like, I feel like it does what it does well, but I do feel like there is better games to do what it does. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
and those games are half the price. So that's why I was like, if you like these type of games, buy it. Don't listen to me and buy it. I don't care. Like, it's just like the things that Triangle Strategy does, they do well. But the Fell Sail, that's an example. Like, stuff that I bought this because I wanted like kind of a spiritual successor to Final Fantasy Tactics. And
Okay.
the key components to Tactics, it's just not in this game. And it's sad, and I'm not saying that I'm not enjoying the time I'm playing it. I think it's got a really good story, but for those of you that want the breakdown, I'll probably have the review up maybe Friday. I don't know yet. It just depends on what happens, man.
Hey, good question from Don Shariko. I killed your name. My fault. From Don in the chat. Is this better than the Octopath Traveler? Because I think you were big on that one.
I might have to say Octopath's better. Maybe not by much. What I liked about Octopath is just the way the combat was done. Now, strategy's good too. Like, I can't really say one's better than the other. They're both pretty solid expansions and solid games. And to be fair with you, considering the same studio made them both, this studio got a good track record to me. You know what I'm saying? It's just, maybe it's just because it's on the Switch also. Like, the performance isn't really there. It really isn't.
You ain't learned your lesson yet, Addict? Wait, is this game, is it a Nintendo Switch exclusive, or is this coming? Oh, no. Sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm starting to get annoyed when I see exclusive Nintendo games. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, if it's not Mario, Zelda, Yoshi, or one of those, one of the first parties, I get it. I get it. I mean, classic IPs.
I'm getting annoyed in general with that stuff. So, okay. Channel updates. I have started my progression when it comes to the channel art, the podcast art. You guys gonna have to bear with me there because it takes a minute to make this. Got to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But hopefully that'll be done here in the next couple weeks. Hopefully, maybe the end of next month. I don't know, because I'm not like one of those people, because I go through Topics or 2Pix or whatever that website's called. It's just pretty much where you contract independent people to work on artwork. And if I don't like it, I will send them back to the drawing board. It's like,
oh shit!
It's like I paid for revisions. You gonna revise that. But a lot of the people on there, they're pretty good. They're pretty good. All right, and as far as today, people may know that we're doing this on a Wednesday. I don't know why, but I kind of like doing this towards the end of the week and not necessarily. Well, I mean, it's not really towards the end of the week. It's just a day difference. But I feel like maybe it's because I do so much on Sunday. Because, man, 5-hour podcast. That's on average. That's 3 Addict shows I do every Sunday.
I mean, but Addicts, you know what it is though. Like we do it. We'll do this in the middle of the week. This will give you time to like really just chill. Same thing with me. Like, cause I'm in the chat with y'all, and I don't know how you like was pulling off the like quick turnaround. It's like podcasts on Sunday, and then Tuesday 5 o'clock you here with me, man. So I mean, my head go off to you.
Yeah. So
man, cause I couldn't do it.
My question to the chat, people in here, is: would Wednesday be a good day for some of you in the chat? Well, obviously, at the end of the day, if me and Hustle want this to be on a Wednesday, we're gonna make it Wednesday. But I do want your guys' opinion on the matter. If Wednesday at 5 to 6, I'm pretty sure 5 is going to be the go-to. But 5 o'clock. The only reason I didn't do later on a Tuesday is because RDX is at 9 or 8, one of those hours, and I know we can't compete with that. You know what I'm saying? Because I know.
Slow down. We can compete with anybody. Slow down.
Yeah, okay.
Shout out to them.
I'm being realistic, okay? Because I'm sure.
Shoot for the stars,
I'm
baby.
sure some of we got a lot of cross going between them both. But if you notice, people don't really do podcasts like midday, like the 5-ish time. Like, people don't really do that. So usually, regardless what day it is, I think Wednesday would be a good time. I think Wednesday is enough days after ILP My idea would be Thursday because that's the day I'm off, but I don't want to do Thursday. There's just too much stuff going down on Thursday. Wednesday.
I'm about to say, why not? I'm about to say that's even better. Like that didn't really bother me so much.
A lot of updates happen Monday or Tuesday. A lot of updates happen.
Oh yeah.
So I like to be on that Wednesday thing. That Wednesday, that way we can break down what happened the past couple days. It'll be, I try to keep the topics. I don't know if people notice. I try to keep the topics a little bit different when it comes to ILP. Like I try my hardest not to have too many people, not to have too many cross topics. I try. Sometimes I fail at it because it's kind of hard. But all right, so let's you guys go ahead. Someone said Wednesdays is good, is great day. Not too many shows midweek. I agree with you. Someone said, "Are you reviewing Tunic?" I'm pretty sure that game's out right now, isn't it?
It is. I wanted to play it. So I'm glad they brought that up. I wanted to play it before the podcast, so I went and I saw like the little tweet from Nebu. You know who he is. I saw the tweet, so I was like, "Well, let me hop on Game Pass right quick," because they said it was on PC as well. So I'm like, "Okay, bet I'm already there." I couldn't like look it up when I went to hit the search bar and put the game in. It went to like, "Hey, this game isn't under EA or something like that." So I'm like, "Well, I must be doing something wrong." I saw one of my homies who I'm not gonna mention because I don't want. Well, it's out today. I saw Erica playing it, so I'm like, "Well, damn, how she play it before I could play it?" But I'm not sure, and I didn't want to spend because I think that game's $30. I didn't want to spend the $30 on it. I said, "Nah." I said, "I already got Game Pass, and that's kind of what I have that for." So I want to play it though. I definitely want to play it. I'm gonna try to play it after we're finished here, but I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna do my damnedest, man.
I do want to review Tunic, but I got to finish this Triangle Strategy. I put so many hours in this thing. I'm like 30 some hours in this game, and like. One thing I will say about the game, it's got a good narrative, but I feel like the narrative is just hitting me in the head over and over again. They're like, you got to watch like 5 different cutscenes or story narrative focused driven stuff to get into one combat. And sometimes I feel like that I'll literally be on my phone because what I do is they have like an auto thing where they continuously go through the dialogue. So I'll go through the dialogue, get on my phone, and I feel like I've read like 18 posts on Twitter. Like there's just an absurd amount of dialogue before you actually get into the gameplay. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. It's just I do feel like Tactics did a good job where they were telling a narrative, and you were fighting with that narrative. But I feel like on this game, it's like we're gonna hit you in the head over and over again with narrative, and then we're going to do an actual mission. Sometimes there's only like maybe 2-3 fights in a chapter, like a whole chapter, 2 or 3 fights. Okay. So I mean, it's not the big of end of the deal, but it is what it is. So let's go jump straight into a hustle.
All right.
We're gonna go ahead and start with the games of 2022 because I feel like the Starfield and the Perfect Dark's going to take up the majority of the show. Clearly, there's been going on long about Perfect Dark. We'll get into that. And we're going to turn that into a little bit with Xbox first-party studios in general. Now,
okay. All right.
Games of 2022 hustle. What are some of the games of 2022 that you're excited for? Because keep in mind, I feel like the biggest games were coming out in February. Like the biggest games for this year were coming out in February. But besides those games, what is remaining that has you excited?
Well, there was one game that I was really anticipating, as you all know. If you deal with the meta of hustle, it's Shredder's Revenge. I do love beat 'em ups. So when that drops, it's supposed to drop later on this year. We haven't really seen anything from it outside of a trailer. I think at the end of last year, it might have been a State of Play or something. They didn't have a date, but they just had the release year, which was 2022. I'm also looking forward to the Ninja Turtles Cowabunga collection. Now, I can't reach it, and I can't get it right now, but Turtles in Time is on that list, and I think it's the arcade version of that game. There's actually 13 different games on that list, and I look forward to running through them all, like, for me. It's going to be on Steam,
Isn't it like
Xbox.
13 games for 40 of them?
Yep, for $40, and I'm going to make sure I copy day one.
I think that's pretty fair. 13 games for $40. I think that's a fair price.
especially when you got at least 3 classics on that list, man. I don't really think you can go wrong with that. But I am looking forward to that. God of War, we don't know if that's coming out this year. I don't want to say no. I don't want to say no just yet. But
I'm gonna
God of
tell
War
you
is
no,
another.
it's not coming out this year.
I got a feeling it ain't, man, because we ain't heard a peep out. Nobody over there. We ain't heard Corey Barlow. We ain't heard none of them. We ain't seen nothing yet.
Well,
We saw
Corey, to my knowledge, isn't the game director of this game.
Well, I know. No, I know it's another gentleman whose name escapes me at the moment, but I kind of follow a few of them. I haven't really heard anything from them. So, you know, I kind of want that to come out this year. Horizon, I have not played Horizon yet. I do plan on buying Horizon, probably like in April or something when I'm finished up with, when I try to finish up with, not Sekiro, when I try to finish up with Elden Ring, which I'm actually having a blast with. I think I'm actually trying to like understand it a little bit. I had Ricky Ricardo 430. That's my boy from the Troubleshooters. He was kind of walking me through it on one of my last live streams. He was like, "No," he said, "Hustle, you do this." She kind of showed me where certain upgrades were and everything. I got this Fly logo helmet too, man. I got like a big sword that you got to use 2 hands to swing with. It's a whole thing. I got like a big shield. I picked up a big shield off one of the enemies, so that's the whole thing. So I'm having fun with that. I'm not really sure what else is supposed to come out this year aside from like Starfield. I'm not, because I don't, as far as like the big releases, I couldn't really tell you what else is coming out that I'm looking forward to. Is there anything on your list, Addict? Because I pretty much like, for me, it's Shredder's Revenge. Oh, wait. One last thing. River City Girls 2. That's another one that I'm definitely looking forward to. I think that's supposed to come out this year as well. So I'm definitely looking forward to that too.
I think I'm definitely looking forward to games coming out. Starfield's one of them. I'm not a big Forza fan, but I do know Forza Motorsport's probably going to come out this year. Now, as far as if that game's going to be like good, that's debatable. They don't normally miss too much. They might what's the word I'm looking for? They might misstep, but they don't really miss. I'm not really. I don't mind the Forza Horizon games, but when it comes to like the simulations, that's definitely a no-go for me. Complete no-go. But I don't know. I'm kind of curious to see the games that gets announced like this year at E3. I think, well, not E3, but whatever the E3 equivalent is. That's what I'm definitely looking forward to Starfield. And, we'll get more into Starfield later, but probably there's other games that Microsoft's making and Sony's making that I just want more information on in general. And it's not necessarily they have to come out this year. I just want to know more about them. Like, I would like to see Fable in some way, shape, or form. I don't know if we're going to see Fable anytime soon, but I would like to see Fable. So, it is. But Starfield, don't get me wrong. Starfield's definitely going to be that game. I do feel like, Starfield's going to surprise some people. Now, we'll get into exactly what was said today on. They did a video, and we'll get to that here in a minute. But they kind of broke down a little bit more stuff that in terms of what's going on with Starfield, and first off, let's just go ahead and move to the Starfield topic. How do you feel about Starfield? Is that something that you're excited about, Hustle?
Not particularly, and I'll tell you why. Because if it is what I think it is, and this is what we lead to believe it is, if they say it's Fallout in space, then meh. I mean, I'm look, as far as Bethesda games, especially the RPGs, I ain't too big into them. I'm kind of glad that y'all finally getting something that's highly anticipated, kind of like sought after, because you guys are coming off of Halo Infinite, which, I mean, we can talk about that at another time, but it's not really doing too well. So you guys have something else to play later on this year. I hope it's good for y'all's sake. I hope it's not the typical buggy Bethesda game, because Fallout 76 started off super bad. We all know that it started off super bad. So I hope it's not bad. And by this being a new IP, man, I always like want the best for new IPs. So I just may try it, but like that's not something that I'm super big on. Like you would be the aficionado in on this side of things over here, as far as what concerns. So could you tell me what you think about it?
There's a couple things I'm nervous about when it comes to Starfield. A couple times when they brought out what Starfield is, they've used language that I generally hate people using. Like, for example, create your own story. I'm paying $60-$70 for you to create me a story, not for me to create me a story. My imagination ain't like that, fam. If I was like that, I'd go play Minecraft, where I legitly create my own story. You create me a story that I could consume. Stop having me do all the work. So when they say stuff like that, and I know that's like PR talk, and sometimes it's not exactly what they say, but I can't stand when people say that. I really can. I'm like, dude, ain't nobody trying to hear that. We trying to have a cohesive story told to us. We ain't trying to have you tell us one. That's why I'm always big on the Elden Ring. It's like, look, like I love Elden Ring. But I've personally, and to this day, now look, I will admit that after playing a lot more Elden Ring, that there is a lot more lore building in that game than I originally thought. Because obviously I'm further in the game, but I still feel like they can improve on that world building. Just like, I like things to make sense. I like things to connect with each other. I like foreshadowing events or people in the future in the beginning of the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I like to do. And Elden Ring does a good job on that, in terms of, demigods, and you come across them and then you have to fight them. They do a pretty decent job at that. But when it comes to Starfield, that's what I'm most worried about. And I think, people like to compare this game to what's that game PlayStation published about the No Man's Sky. They like to compare the exploration of No Man's Sky. I hope to God that's not true. Like, you have no idea, man. Like, if anything, I would like a true open world. But if that's not possible because of the direction that this game went to, I'm okay with a really good immersive hub world where, like, you go to something and you go to your ship, and your ship is what teleports you or transports you to every to every era or every planet. You know what I'm saying? Like, kind of like the Outer Worlds. I'm okay with something like that. It's just like, first, I don't want to fly a ship. I don't care. Like, if they had me fly a ship, I'm gonna be shitty. Like, I'm gonna be upset the whole time I fly that thing, because I ain't trying to fly no ship. I want someone else to fly the ship.
As long as it's not like Insomniac with the Ratchet and Clank games, I mean, I think it should be cool. Like, if the controls aren't bad, then I think that should be like a fun time if you are running around and you got some missions in space. Halo Reach, I'm sure you played and beat that one. There's a section where you are in a ship and you're kind of flying around and you're going after the Covenant, I think. I can't remember. I know I played and beat it, but that stuff like that was pretty fun for me. So I don't know. So I disagree. I think if it's pulled off right, I wouldn't mind flying in the ship. You don't get like motion sick, do you?
Kinda. And it just, some games do it better than others, if that makes sense. Like, I've never had full blown motion sickness where I have to turn the game off. You know what I'm saying? But there's some Oculus stuff that will make me slightly motion sick, but I wouldn't go as far to say, like, I gotta turn this off right now. So we got a $5 super chat from Don Utaku. I doubt a game with 150,000 lines of dialogue will make you create your own story. You're on something there, man. All I'm saying is, they better tell me a story. If not, better be one of that's. It's like I said, that's like the Elden Ring thing. Like I brought up earlier. Like, I hate those games where, like, you got to go and fetch something. That's why we roasted Destiny the way we did, because they made you go to another outlet to research the story of the game. Like, people's like, oh, Addict, you could go on the internet and you could easily find YouTube channels that explain the Elden Ring lore. None of that nonsense. How about the game explains me the Elden Ring lore? And that they do a good job. We ain't gonna really talk about Elden Ring because I feel like the internet won't shut up about Elden Ring, which deserving it does, because it's an amazing game. But we're gonna let's get back to the Starfield. I feel like Starfield has the potential to be great. But we just got to see how they execute a new vision. Sometimes when you're making a new game, you try things that you necessarily shouldn't have tried because you want to innovate it, and you end up ruining it. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be Starfield. Pretty sure Todd Howard and that team, they hitting good ratios. Like, people want to blame them all the time for Fallout 76. The studio making Starfield did not make Fallout 76. I don't know why.
Okay, educate me then, because I thought they were one and the same. So you have to educate me then.
Bethesda Software Studios has a couple studios under that umbrella, and one of them is Bethesda Software Austin. They made Fallout 76. Now, Bethesda Software Studios, like the core team, the one that made Fallout, Skyrim, the ones that makes the heavy hitters, they did help with the game as far as like animations and stuff to get it out the door, but they didn't make that game. And, Fallout 76, they should be ashamed of how that game launched. Like, I will agree that Fallout at one point in time had that I could do no wrong clout. You know what I'm saying? Well, any Bethesda game, they had that I could pop out any game, it doesn't matter how buggy it is, and I'm going to be graced for it. I don't think that's the case this time. I think now, I do think they come out there with a heavy hitter. If they somehow dethrone Elden Ring as my game of the year, they've won. I've been the need of them off just that by themselves. Because Elden Ring is a fantastic game. And people getting on to me because I say Elden Ring is my game of the year. Look, until someone makes something that's better, Elden Ring is one of the best games I played in probably a decade. And it's just
Wait, Addict, hold on. Best game period or best Souls game?
Best game period.
Okay.
I can't really think of games that's better than it very well. Like, it would have to be like the Skyrims, and I wasn't the biggest fan of The Witcher. Maybe saying I wasn't the biggest fan of The Witcher isn't fair. I just never gave The Witcher a complete 100% shot. When I think of something that's on the quality of Elden Ring, it's those type of games. And Fallout, Bethesda Software Studios, people keep acting like they've made nothing but misses. It's like, no, they're probably the studio that has the most Game of the Years out of all the studios. Because they got Game of the Year for Fallout 3. They got Game of the Year for Skyrim. I'm pretty sure they got Game of the Year for Morrowind. They got runner-up for Fallout 4. And I think they got runner-up for Fallout New Vegas. I can't remember who beat them that year, but they might have got runner-up. Their games is neither runner-up or Game of the Year. Every single one of them. There's not been one game that has them type of, criteria. And I get it. Their greatest hits was like 15 years ago. Well, 12 years ago. But where is that? I feel like if it would, like, Rockstar gets so much slack for taking 7 to 8 years to make a game, making one game a generation, but Bethesda, they're told they can't have that kind of time. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, and I'm not trying to compare the two. They're two different games. But it's just like, Bethesda, sure, I might have been a little disappointed with how they did some of the things in Fallout 4. But Fallout 4 was still a very successful game. And it was a very polished game. Sure, there's a little bit of glitches in the beginning of the game, but I like a lot of the things they did in Fallout. I just felt like they could have improved some of the aspects of Fallout. Let's talk about the Starfield hype.
Okay.
Because a lot of people coming at me today over this. Do you think it's logical for for fans, and be honest with me, because clearly you know where I stand. You can have your opinion even if I disagree. Do you think it's logical for fans to be hyped for a game that we've seen almost nothing on in terms of gameplay?
If you're familiar with that studio, then yeah. Like the second Rockstar shows Grand Theft Auto 6, in my opinion, it's through the roof. I'm going to the moon with it because I know what to expect.
The moon? You're going to the moon?
I'm going to them. I mean, I'm taking off with it. I'm blasting off, man, because I know what to expect from Rockstar at that point. You know what to expect from Bethesda a lot better than I do. So therefore, with the Fallout series, Skyrim, so on and so forth, you already know what to expect from them. And if we're hearing comparisons rumbling around of what this game is supposed to be, then you can be excited. That's the thing. Hey, look, you can be excited. I got a theory that you can kind of be excited for whatever you want to be. If something looks interesting in you, there's nothing for you to be. Now, unless you get like a whole, what game is that? It's over on Xbox. I cannot think of the name of the game in the life for me. It's a franchise. It's the third one in the franchise, Addict, and I cannot think of it for the life of me. But it's
Who made it?
It's the Xbox first party studio, and I cannot think of the name of it.
Wasteland? Wasteland?
Not Wasteland. Not Wasteland. It's, oh my God. I had the thought in my head, and I had the name of the game in the franchise in my head. But
you said they're on the third one?
They're on the third one, yes. They're on the third game in the series.
Hey,
it's
chat, put some guesses, man. Let's play a game. Can we guess what's in Hustle's mind? Because I have no clue what he's talking about.
Well, I would like to offer y'all some money for a prize, but I can't afford that either. It's not Wasteland. I think it does start with a W. I can't think of the name of it, but it's another like.
Well, it's not RPG. Forza because they're on 5.
Not Forza. It's
is
not Crackdown. It's not Crackdown either.
State of Decay.
There you go. Thank you. I said start with a W. It's State of Decay. So when you have I almost forgot my. Oh my God. What's wrong with me? I almost forgot my point. No, when you have something like that, the way the cinematics won't necessarily look like the gameplay, then you feel like you're bamboozled and it's like a whole situation. Like that I get, but you know what you expect when you play Wasteland. You know what you expect when you play a Skyrim, or in my case, a Grand Theft Auto. Like, we know what we're getting when it comes to that. So, I mean, for people to say, oh, you can't be hyped about it, it's, I feel like that's like a foolish thing to say.
I feel like
I think it's odd that people can even. I always think it's odd when people try to rain on other people's parade. But look, I'm not gonna sit up here and throw stones and hide my hand, or throw stones and live in a glass house. I'm sure I've done that before too. But just let people enjoy what they enjoy. If they hype for it, go ahead, man. Go nuts.
Okay. I feel like we should be able to hype up any damn thing we want to. Like, look,
we should.
Regardless if the game lives up to the hype, it shouldn't take away the fact that you're hyped for it. Like, look, if anything, I've always been one of those people, you hype up that game as much as you want. But if that game comes out and it doesn't live up to your expectations, you better not defend that damn game. Like, you better drop all the fires of hell on that game if it's not living up to your expectation. Kingdom Hearts 3, I was so excited for it. Game came out, disappointed. Fallout 4, I was so excited for it. Game came out, disappointed. Now, is that really a test of the quality of the game itself, or is that just a test of maybe I overhyped something in my mind and the game couldn't realistically live up to that expectation? Maybe it's the latter. Who knows? But as far as to say that I can't have those kind of expectations is just ridiculous. Like, I've always been one of those people, like, look at something like when it comes to Gran Turismo 7. You know, if I can speak out against Kingdom Hearts, then people should be able to speak out against Gran Turismo for what they've done. Putting microtransactions into a game, post-review. If you look at the graphics of that game, they're not that impressive. They're just not. That's just my opinion. I'm not really.
Hold on. I got to slow you down on that second part. You sure? That's Gran Turismo. Those games always look great.
Look,
that's a racing game too.
I will say that the game looks good in other scenarios, and it doesn't look good in other scenarios. I feel like the game's very inconsistent in the way it looks, and if you're inconsistent in the way it looks, then I feel like you automatically get hit, because there's a difference. I'd rather a game look shitty than look inconsistent to how I'm playing it. If you feel like you're playing a PS5 game at some times and a PS3 game at other times, then that's a bad look. Let's be real here. Let's keep it 100, Hustle.
Damn, I didn't see. I haven't played that game. I've only known two
Well,
people
you ain't missing
who
much.
play that game. Well, Jay Guy. Shout out to Jay Guy. He know who he is. And Hardhead. Y'all, we all know Hardhead in here. He's another one. Like I saw Hardhead play and stream this game. It looked fine to me, but hold on. I got a question. Does anybody in the chat or Addict, do you know who made this new Gran Turismo? Was it Polyphony Digital?
Polyphony
Y'all
Digital.
let me.
I have no
Polyphony
clue
Digital.
who that is.
I could Google it, but I kind of don't want to.
No, we
but
don't gotta do all that.
If it is Polyphony, Digital, then this isn't the first time that they've done like the microtransactions thing. I want to take y'all all the way back to 2008, I do believe. 2006, whenever the PS3 dropped, and whenever that version of Gran Turismo dropped, I think in order for you to buy everything in that game, like you had to spend like $4,000.
Oh, that's true.
So if it is, yeah.
Remember when Evolve came out and it had like $500 worth of microtransactions that day it came out? And those are good old days. I actually liked Evolve too. I was really upset that game failed.
I passed on that joint. I wasn't. It's crazy. And I'm a big old hypocrite for that too. But like when I passed on that, but I wanted to play Friday the 13th.
That's a good game. That was a good game.
Yeah, it's fun. Friday the 13th is super fun, but I never played Evolve, man. By the time I really wanted to come around to it, that thing was in the grave, over and done with, sadly. So yeah,
It had a good concept, and I don't even think they executed it poorly. It's just I feel like they didn't really think about that game in the long term. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a fun game. I really enjoyed that. I actually bought that game. But
oh my God, my condolences.
Yeah, I really should hit up Microsoft, ask for some money back. Oh my God, it's like I can't even play the game. Not to go off topic a little bit. Do you think when you play a game and they turn off the servers, and we're not even talking about like 10 years of turning off the servers. If they turn off the servers in a couple years, like 2 to 3, and it's like mainly an online infrastructure type of game, do you think you're entitled to a refund at that point?
1,000%. Because it's not like they're cutting off the servers like 10 years later to where you pretty much got everything you're going to get out of it. Nah, that's over. That's over. Like, and that's, I mean, look, if that game didn't perform well, so I understood why they turned it off. Like, I get it. But that's kind of criminal at that point. Like, yo, I mean, I don't know. See, I don't know how much it costs to keep a server on either. So I want to slow myself up a little bit because that may cost a certain amount of money that I'm not aware of. But if it does cost something, like at least maybe if you don't get all the money back, get like a partial refund, give some type of store credit, something, because something got to be done. Because you can't just be on 2016 and then 2018 it's over. The dream is over. Everything is gone. Like you can't. Like that's 2 years. Like what do you get out of it? What do you get out of that in 2 years? Excuse me.
You know a game that let me get this $2 super chat from Space Dovahking. Todd Howard and his A team are world class. Look, I do think that they're very experienced developers, and I think they make classic games. But I'm really hoping that they take Starfield. I personally, this is okay. Let's play a game. Is Addict bugging? Hustle. All right. I personally feel like Starfield was supposed to come out last year, but when Microsoft bought Bethesda, Microsoft's like, look, go back into the closet, go ahead and restructure the foundation of the game a little bit. Make sure everything is fine-tuned. I don't want no issues with this game. I don't want the word bug Bethesda to happen anywhere in this game. And make it next gen only. And I think that Microsoft gave them the time for that, and they delayed the game a year to give them the time to make sure that the bugs weren't there, to make sure that, regardless, I don't know if the game was always going to be a next-gen only game. I'm glad it's only, current gen at this point. But I'm glad they gave them that time because we need more studios willing to do stuff like that to give developers time to make the game they want. We've seen it with Wasteland. Microsoft gave them a little bit more time. Game was better because of it. Psychonauts. Microsoft gave them more time. Game was better than because of it. I feel like if we stop rushing development, a lot of the issues in the industry will go away overnight. The review process will probably go away overnight. Because now you're not rushing games out the door and having to do day one patches up to the last minute. You can actually give reviewers the time they need to review a game properly with the proper patches. But
I think you bugging. Not only, yeah, I think so, Max. I think Bethesda wanted to put this out as soon as possible, following up on Fallout 76. I think that was the last game they released before this one. You correct me if I'm wrong. If they wanted to come off of that, even though that game has been improved and everything, but if they wanted to come off of that, let's say L for all intents and purposes, they wanted to drop the new thing. I guarantee you they wanted to drop the new thing. Regardless if it was on PS4, Xbox One, and these new consoles, they'll put it anywhere. We heard Howard say, hey, listen, we're going to keep putting out the same games because y'all keep buying them. So that if that don't sound like a man who will buy his money to me, that he definitely would have dropped it on both of them consoles. And as far as making it Series S and X, well, as far as current gen exclusive with the Xbox and PC, he would have dropped that joint everywhere. He would have put it everywhere that he could have possibly put it.
I actually disagree on that because I feel like the only reason to push a game out sooner than you want to is I feel like the only reason to do that is just because you need the money. You know, people are pushing for it. Investors are pushing for it. You need that money, that flow. You need to improve to investors why they spent so much money into it. But I feel like most developers, if they had more time, they would take more time. And the reason I feel like they might have gave them more time is because Microsoft last year was Halo. Do you think Starfield coming out last year would have hurt Halo?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
1,000%.
That's why I really felt like when it comes to Starfield and Bethesda, I feel like they're like, look, Bethesda, we don't necessarily need you this year. Like we need a side piece next year. So, but we know that you can make this game better. A year from last year, you probably have a less buggy game because I already know there's going to be some form of bugs. I already know this. It just depends on how much the bugs are, and I think this game's going to come out relatively flawless. Because they've had an extra year. I feel like maybe some features was added to the game that they would have naturally worked on, but now they're actually putting in the full retail game. And that's why I'm confident with them. Are they perfect? No developer's perfect. They've messed up on a lot of things. You know, the thing I want to go over right now with you is they actually talked about. All right, you don't play a lot of Bethesda games, but they used to have a huge formula in making Bethesda format games. Like, you would make your own character, make the build that you want the character, and you would go from there. But I feel like ever since, I would say Skyrim, they kind of went away from that a little bit. And I feel like every game, it gets worse over the previous one. You know what I'm saying? Like, in Fallout 4, you didn't even get to make your character. It was pretty much like an all-around character. You got perks, but it wasn't the same. You know what I'm saying? From like Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 3. And I felt like the dialogue system, the persuasive system wasn't the greatest in Fallout 4 either. So, but they made that video made for Wanderers, and they pretty much like go over a little bit of the companions you have for the game. They got a lot of things. Let me get this $2 super chat real quick. $2 super chat from Flame. I bought Battleborn. Don't feel bad at it. Guess what, Flame? So did I. So
that was like Overwatch, real quick. That was like Overwatch, right? Was
that
the one that was like the Overwatch thing? Overwatch came and took.
They messed up with that, man.
Oof, yikes.
Overwatch. What's funny is at that time, I don't think they really knew what the kind of beast Overwatch would be. I mean, they knew they had something, but it's like Elden Ring. They knew they have a game, but did they think it would be what it turned out to be? You know what I'm saying? So,
I feel
all right. So last year, Todd Howard said that they were going to go back to their roots. That they went back to their roots. That's what this game was going to be. They're going to go back to their roots, make a game like they used to make. So they went over a little bit of features in Starfield. Game character origin stats and are important. So that's what I was saying, that they're going to let you build your character, put the stats in whatever you want to. So if you want to put stats in small arms, you can put stats in small arms. If you want to put stats in whatever they have for energy weapons, you can put stats in energy weapons. If you want to put stats in a big ass hammer you go around and hit people with, you can put stats in that. And that's really important to me. I feel like that is the core foundation of their games. And I was really disappointed that wasn't in Fallout 4. All right, now let's character origins, which this is kind of weird because they've never really done this. Do you know what character origins are, Hustle?
No.
All right, so
but by the sound of it, it means like you get to pick your birth mother, birth father. Is that
no,
like where you're from? Okay,
so
explain that to me.
The way that I think this is now, obviously, I could be interpreting this differently than it actually is. Did you ever play like the Dragon Age games or anything like that?
Nah, that was never my thing either.
Well, at the beginning of the Dragon Age games, whatever race you pick, your origins is with their people.
Oh, okay, I got you. So if you were like a war, well, it's like kind of like a warrior class, or no, I understand. Okay, now I understand. Go ahead.
I'm hoping that's what they're saying here, because they did bring up multiple factions, so it would be cool if whatever race you pick up with, their origin starts in their home country or their home planet or something related to that. I don't know exactly what it would be, but I like that they're doing something like that because it's interesting. It's interesting. Then they brought up different in-game starts for backgrounds. I don't really know what they mean by that. Like different in-game starts for backgrounds. So maybe factions, like you do an in-game start. I don't know.
No. Okay, I think when they say different in-game, wait, stats or starts? You mean like it'll start off there? So it sounds like if they got 5 different origins that you can pick from, it'll have 5 different intros. Like Cyberpunk, I believe, had 3 different intros from street kid, business person, corpo, whatever, into the other one.
See, but that kind of
that sounds like to me.
That kind of falls under the origins.
Yeah, but I mean, well, just based off of what you just told me, that's kind of how I take that. Like, it was just based off what you told me. So you'll have 5 different openings. It sounds like you're gonna have 5 different openings to me, or a few different openings depending on how many character classes they have.
If anyone in the chat knows exactly what they mean by that sentence, hit me up, man. Tag at Iron Lords Podcast. I'm on the Iron Lords Podcast account today, and tell me what you feel like. You know, we got 155 people in here. Definitely hit that like button, man. Let's get it over to 100 likes before the end of the podcast. For those of you that are getting here, I know, we've been going up. I don't normally like switching days, but we are discussing the possibility of making the podcast on a Wednesday because I feel like it works out better for everyone. It could space me out a little bit more from the Iron Lords podcast. So that's good on there. And I feel like me mentally could do Wednesdays better. But I do want to hear the chat's opinion on the matter.
Like I got an idea.
What?
Hey, I don't got access to it, but can you just make a poll in the chat?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead and talk while I do it.
All right. So with everything that's going on with Starfield, and as you guys know, I'm not particularly a Bethesda fan. I kind of want to get y'all thoughts on it in the chat. Like, on a scale of 1 to 10, are you guys excited for the new Starfield with the news that we heard today? That's my first question. My second question is, for a newbie like me to get involved in it, how do you suggest that I start playing this? Like, what do you suggest? Because like I'm playing Elden Ring. This is like my second, or maybe third even Souls type game, and pretty much they told me start with Magic. So is there a particular class that I maybe I need to start with if it's anything like Elden Ring, or excuse me, anything like Elder Scrolls or anything like Fallout? Let me know in the chat.
Okay. I've always felt like these type of games, you need a route. You need, something that you generally do at the beginning of every game to build up your character, and then you get to that point and then you branch out. You know what I'm saying? Like at Fallout New Vegas, my route or route, however you guys want to say it in the comment section, is I went down the map around it and I went to New Vegas. And then in New Vegas, that's when I would establish some form of base, and then I would branch out and do things from there. Skyrim is a little different. I usually change things up in Skyrim quite often. I don't know why. I love Skyrim. Probably one of my all-time favorite games. That's what I would recommend on Starfield. Just getting a good feeling on what you want to do, because this is gonna be a hardcore RPG. So I'm hoping that that works out well. And for those of you that notice my voice is definitely going away a little bit, it's fine. We got probably another 30 minutes, and I could last for 30 minutes. So here's the next one: scans of real models. A model, so pretty much they're spending some money, man. They're making sure that they scan real life objects in the game. Hopefully that means that they're going to stay away from the hand drawn stuff. I don't have no problem with it. Skyrim was hand drawn. A lot of that game was hand drawn, and that's why it looks so particular. But it really does look like now. I think this is a double-edged sword what they're doing here, Hustle. Would you not safe to assume where they're using scans of quote unquote real model photography? Would you not say that might give people expectations that the game's going to look gorgeous?
Yes. When you say you're taking the time to use something real as opposed to something that you can illustrate on your own, which would, when you say you're doing that, of course I expect a higher level of what you were originally doing in the first place. Like when you say that to me, that means, hey, you going out like Forza Horizon, for instance, they would go out, have the high expensive cameras, and take pictures of the clouds just to get the clouds right. So when you say that to me, this is initially what I think. So yeah, I expect a better level of quality in terms of the game. And I kind of might, maybe I just want to check it out just for that, because I had no idea that was there, because I didn't have a chance to look over almost said Skyrim, over the Starfield stuff. I didn't have a chance to look over it, but now I kind of want to see. Now you kind of piquing my interest a little bit. You make me want to check it out day one. I'm gonna have Game Pass anyway, so you kind of make me want to check it out day one.
Man, you got Game Pass. You're trying this out day one. There's no way you don't. There's no way
we'll see.
We'll see. There's 0% chance you don't try this game day one. Man, all you have to do is just click download. Especially, that's going to be on PC.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be.
Ain't gonna take no time. Ain't gonna take no time for me. So yeah, I'm with it.
You need to just go ahead and pull that trigger and get an Xbox Series X. That's what you need to do.
So wait a minute, and I know we're talking about the Starfield stuff. I am gonna get a Series S, or Series X rather. I'm gonna Series X. I just gotta make sure I can find them joints because I can't have my phone on me at work no more. So I can't. Normally it's easy. I see it at Best Buy. I try to go get it as soon as I can. But I'm gonna do my best to have it. Cause I got PS5 sitting up here, sitting up on my setup all alone, man. It's all alone. It's so lonely up there.
We'll have to talk to someone. Let's see if Forte can help you out with that. Next time one pops in, maybe he could hit you up, see if you want it.
Yeah, I let him know. I holler at him. Shout out to Forte, man.
We got a $5 super from Space Dova King. I think their confidence is sky high, and that's why they're hyping this game up like crazy, and I believe them. They look seriously confident. They do. If you look at them in that trailer, they really do look like they know they got the baddest chick at this next dance. They really be looking like that. I'm right, Hustle. They be looking like they about to go in here, and you ain't gonna be able to do nothing to fight that. It's interesting, man. It's interesting. All right, so then the persuasive system with NPCs trying for a more realistic human-to-human dialogue. It's a very interesting way they put this. If I remember correctly, they say when you're arguing with someone, they want it to feel like an actual conversation with a person. And they don't want one option to be that this is clearly the good, this is clearly the bad. They want that thing where you're generally looking at those conversations and you don't know what they're going to react to with it. How you feel about sentences like that? Because I feel like that's a huge thing to come out and say, that you're going to try your hardest to have the most realistic human conversations that you can do.
So when you tell me that, the first game that came to my mind was and I'm sure you guys remember, like L.A. Noire. So you remember you guys were cold, and when you interrogated people, you had either the truth, a lie, or doubt. It sounded like to me that most of that stuff was seem a lot more natural. So when, let's just say, everything's doubt, you don't know. It's almost like you don't know that. Well, hold on. Well, almost what we do know is that these answers won't be as heavy-handed as like previous iterations of other RPGs that Bethesda has put out. That to me is dope. And if they nail something like that, then like that, you kind of selling me on this a little bit. I know that's what the whole point of that thing was today, but it's kind of selling me on the idea of this. Like I said, I'm not no Bethesda cat like that, but it really makes me want to check that out. But if you can get that down pat, and with the last thing is you making things more realistic and you pull it off, then I never hate on that. Hey, Addict, side note. I know a guy whose brother works at Bethesda. He does I think he does like the mocap and stuff like that. I used to work at I can't say where. I used to work out in Virginia. And I bumped into this guy and we started talking about, like, we talking about The Last of Us. He said, hey, my brother works at da-da-da-da. So I'm like, okay, well, how is it over there? He was like, yo, he said it's a trip and a half working over there at Bethesda, man. And that's super dope. I'm going to try to reach back out to him to see if we can try to get him on. But like that to me is like super dope, man. I hope this game kind of turns out well, because you seem like you up on it. You really seem like you excited on it. And a lot of people in chat do too.
I think people, look, it's going to be different with Starfield because it's a new IP. Mm-hmm. And I don't think people are really taking in how big it is to have Bethesda games exclusive to the Microsoft platform, and obviously on PC. It's not exclusive, but you get what I'm saying. Like,
oh yeah.
But hustle, when that when that Elder Scrolls 6 drops, and that's like I says only on Xbox and PC. That's gonna hit people hard, because especially if I think Todd Howard retires after that game. I think that's his last game, and I think he gonna make sure that game comes out and does what it's supposed to. We got a $5 super chat from Don Otaku. I'm calling the Game of the Year rankings now. 1, Breath of the Wild 2. 2,
if that comes out.
Elden Ring. 3, Starfield. 4, God of War Ragnarok. 5, Horizon Forbidden West. And the real number 1, Kirby, baby. It'd be crazy if Kirby actually won that.
No, I meant to bring this up earlier when you would ask me what games I was excited for. I gotta find my Switch and get the connections and stuff right. I want to play that game. I low-key want to play it. Cause I've been playing Kirby Superstar, like, behind the scenes a little bit. Yo, that game is still on Super Nintendo. That game's still fun. I'm not finna hold you. That game is like super fun, but I definitely want to play the Kirby game, man. I want to hear, like, from like the Nintendo fans, like a Player Essence, like a Bland Drew. I kind of want to hear from them what they really think about, like, that in particular. But Kirby, man, it's one thing that we know for sure about that. It's gonna outsell Metroid Prime or Metroid Dread.
So
Metroid, but anyway, yeah.
All right, so let's go over a little bit more of the information they went. They did say that they really doing an emphasis on companions, the people that work with you in the game, and it showed a big ass robot. Like, so clearly that's going to be one of the companions. I don't know what his deal is. And what I really want to interest is, like, the factions. They do look like they're going back to the factions type of system that was in Fallout New Vegas. Obviously, that was made by Obsidian, but it's interesting that they're going to do that. And they talked about space pirates. They talked about a society that is kind of like Wild Wild West. They talked about, like, pretty much like a galactic, like, place, like like in every type of Star Wars, or those space non-fictions that they have that one thing that controls the whole like galaxy, like that one. They kind of hinted at them too. They hinted at like a little bit in terms of a trade thing as well, like a trade a trade service or something like that, some kind of convoy. I don't know, but the game looks good, man. And like, look, I get it. I get it. We don't know nothing about it. But here's the thing, Hustle. Do you know when Skyrim was announced? Like,
no.
It was announced December of 2010. Do you know when that game came out?
When it November 11th
of
2011?
11.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you know when Fallout was announced? Fallout 4.
No.
E3 of the year it came out.
Yeah, well, but that's
5 months before the game came out.
Yeah, they'll do that. They'll do stuff like that.
And I'm pretty sure some of their other games like Doom and stuff, they same thing. So it's just like, look, are you hating on Starfield because you're generally concerned and you don't have any information on it? Or are you hating on Starfield because maybe not necessarily you don't want to succeed, but you don't like the hype the game's getting? I don't know. I feel like if you was paying attention, you would clearly see that this is Bethesda's MO. So why is so many people going above and beyond? Addict, it's getting delayed. Addict, it's looking like people are actually saying this game looks like Cyberpunk.
Oh wow.
Is everything going to get a Cyberpunk effect these days? Just because not every studio got to act the same. Bethesda is known for this. So why are we acting like this is new? This is not new. And I get...
I want to respond to something in the chat. As Z Black Writer, I just saw your last comment. Bethesda show gameplay, but they'll show it like 6 months before the joint drop. Like I've seen that with... I do remember seeing that with... Because you bring up a great point. I remember seeing that with Doom, and I want to say it was Wolfenstein, but I was like, well, damn, they ain't wasting no time. I remember seeing that at E3 that was like, all right, we're going to show you this, and then we're going to drop it in November or whatever it was. Yeah, so that kind of has been their thing recently, and I've always appreciated it about them, but I'm not no Doom cat, so, you know, it is, but it's just, you know, they just don't make titles that particularly appeal to me, but if, you know, and Addict, I don't know if it was you who said it, maybe it was King. I was like, oh, they're going to show the joint. When he was like, oh, one of us on that panel said, hey, they didn't show anything. I said, nah, they're going to wait till next year and they're going to drop it. They said they're going to do what they've been doing.
Yeah, but see,
I do remember saying that.
I didn't like that because I do feel like they announced this in 2018. We deserved gameplay last year. We did. Like,
oh, come on.
I feel like you hype. Let's be real here, Hustle. They hyped the hell out of that conference for Starfield. They acted like they was about to show everything about Starfield. And we get that little weak trailer at the beginning. And I know they needed Starfield to be there because they wanted to show the unity between Bethesda and Microsoft. That was their first E3. Starfield had to have been there. But it's like, cool down talking about Starfield. Every time you bring up Starfield, you get excited about Starfield. And then people get upset with me because I'm being excited about Starfield now. It's just like, they should have showed more last year. You know, obviously, we're a couple months away from E3 at this point. Well, whatever their equivalent of E3 is going to be. So we're about to see it. It's going to be real soon. I'm putting you on the spot right now, Hustle. You going to be in the ILP reaction to the Microsoft conference?
Assuming if it's on Sunday for sure, because I don't have to work that day.
I don't know.
But they typically do Sundays. Yeah, I mean,
they do usually do Sunday. I hate that shit too, man. I can't stand it.
You know what it is? Things are so different now. Like, let's put it this way: if I can be here for sure, I'll be here. Yeah, 1,000% I'll be there. But it's, you know, things are so different now with how everything's being rolled out and pushed out. It'll probably be a pre-recorded thing too. Which is an important thing because we saw PlayStation do that with like the future of gaming thing. I think a lot of these things will be pre-recorded. None of these things will be live anymore because there's no need for that. I will be there if it's on a Sunday. Anytime after 4 p.m., hey, I'm in the house at that point. As long as I don't have to be nowhere, of course I'll be here. My only concern is, man, look, can they have a camera that look like mine? Can they have a lens that looks like mine or yours? That's all
Yeah.
of that. I
Now
know it was on point last time, but just keep it up.
I
Just
will
keep it up.
I will say that I think one of the reasons they was looking so sketchy all the time was because at that time I think that they were in and out if they were going to do like, is this pandemic going to be this serious? Are we going to be able to do an in-house show? So I don't necessarily know if that was something that was on their mind. You know what I'm saying? And then you got to look like Aaron Greenberg's camera looked rough. It was like a laptop camera. How do I got a better camera than this man did? Like, but they learned. They sent that man a camera. And you know what's crazy is, I would say I do think that something had to do with they were transitioning from, because that was at the beginning of the pandemic. They were transitioning, but it's like, how did you feel like you doing? First off, how you doing meetings on this, Aaron?
I know
the people can't even see you that well. How you doing meetings on? I'm glad he got that fixed. Like, you know, Microsoft, a $1 trillion company, they gotta have cameras in a closet somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like someone go to the office and get some of those cameras out. Mail them to people, man. Like, and even if it's not that point, these people they make good money. Aaron, you have money to buy a camera. Man, I like the energy Aaron gives out, but that camera wasn't it, man. That camera wasn't it. All right. Let's go to the main event.
All right, man. The main event or disappointment? Can we talk about it?
Yeah, we obviously we got to keep it real, man. We got to keep it real.
Oh man.
Hustle.
Yeah.
The initiative has lost the majority of its workforce and the majority of its lead people in the past 12 months. What is your initial thoughts when you saw this?
Let me stop shaking my desk. I noticed my camera shaking. Sad. I saw a video from Oh Noah's Alex. Y'all make sure y'all go subscribe to my man. He actually putting out quality content. He pretty much had the comparison that, you remember when Crystal Dynamics was announced that they were coming over to help with the Perfect Dark project? Mm-hmm. A lot of people felt the way about it, and I had a feeling that they did. I really should have did a video on it, but oh well. I had a feeling that they did, because I was in a situation like this to where you pretty much have to train your replacements. A lot of people not going to be feeling that. So anybody in their right mind, myself included, we get the hell up out of there. It's like, hey, you know what? You gave us a shot over here at the initiative, man, and hey, maybe things ain't working, but I'm gone. So a lot of people left. It, to me, is so disheartening. Like, I think one of the narratives, and I read part of that. Shout out to The Finest on Twitter. He had sent it to me earlier today. Like, one of the narrative, leads had left. And when I saw that, I said, damn. I'm like, yo, the narrative, that's supposed to be the big deal for me when it comes to Perfect Dark. And we saw about this last week. I'm like, yo, it's the hustle. Why are you so excited for it? Because the story, wow. I like the actual story, but for the knowing that one of the lead designers, one of the lead narrative people left, is why they had some programmers leave. They had a ton of people leave. This isn't like a Halo thing, right? Remember how in Halo we had heard maybe one or two people who had left. And here's the thing: in the gaming industry, people leave all the time. We just may not be privy to it, but people leave all the time. They may find a better opportunity with a better studio, et cetera, et cetera.
I actually
right?
talked to a friend that recently went to another company from a different company, and he said, "Addict, you have no idea the money being thrown around the industry right now.
Get that bag.
Get that bag." And it's like, look, I will say, when it comes to the initiative, is looking pretty spooky. The initiative.
Oh man.
Now, there's a couple things I think I made a video about this, so anyone watching, definitely go check that out. We got a $5 super chat from Dawn Otaku. We know damn well Xbox marketing team get crumbs. Look, regardless if they get crumbs or not, man, like a 1080p camera, like $100, Dawn Otaku. Like, I mean, to tell me they can't afford that. I'm pretty sure
500 minimum. Man.
I'm pretty sure they spend that money on dinner. Mm-hmm. They could have easily bought that. Now I'm not gonna I'm not going to go too much into that. You know, we could talk about it for a couple seconds. I'm not going to go too much into that because I do feel like there was extreme circumstances to that. They just started a pandemic. You know, it probably slipped their mind by the time. People need to remember too that I don't know if Microsoft has like equipment like that laying around. I'm pretty sure they would have something like that, but I don't know if taking something from them from something else would hurt somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? It was probably just one of those things where maybe Aaron wasn't even supposed to be in that Inside Xbox. He was put in it at the last minute.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just like we don't know everything going on there. Aaron should have known better though. He should have looked at that camera and be like, "Oh no, this ain't it." Like it's like someone send me a camera. Let me go to Walmart. Something like that should have happened.
Yeah, he could have easily went to he could have easily got a Panasonic, because I used to use a Panasonic G7 with this lens that I'm using now. Now I got a Sony A6100. He could have easily just went and just used the kit lens on the joint. But that's just, you know what, that's just me poking fun at son. This is so long ago, but they've improved since then. So hopefully they got it. But
that's because we went a little extra on them, man. We went a little extra. It's because look, we want them to do better. We want PlayStation to do better. We want Xbox to do better. And in a lot of ways, I want Nintendo to do better.
Well, we're not gonna get that one, Addict. But let's get back to let's get back to the topic at hand, man. The Perfect Dark situation, dog. To me, because I am looking forward to it. That joint scared the hell out of me. Because again, we don't necessarily see when people leave, but we ain't never seen nobody in this type of. It's like a mass exodus, damn near. It's a lot of people who left. There's a whole lot of people who left, and I'm like, damn. It's just like out of nowhere. I had read that article from, I think it was VGC 247. I do believe that's where I read it from. It seems like there's a leadership issue over there with the initiative. And what I mean by that is they're so laid back over there. It was like, you can get it done, just take your time. But sometimes I would love to tell people to take their time and do the best possible thing, period. But sometimes people need a foot up their ass. People need direction. People need, hey, we got dates to hit this thing, and this thing. Sometimes you need a deadline. I ain't saying crunch, but I'm saying sometimes you need a deadline. And it's good to have a deadline. It's good to have that type of structure. And again, man, when Crystal Dynamics came in, a lot of people on the internet, and maybe I want to include me, maybe I don't, but a lot of people was like, oh, this is just a move to buy Crystal Dynamics, because David Gallagher used to be the lead guy over there and all that. I don't think so, man. I don't think so. I think obviously they saw like the writing on the wall.
I don't think
maybe it's turned out the way they wanted to. What's up?
I don't think it's a move to buy Crystal Dynamics, but I do think there was some creative differences between the two. And I think maybe Daryl Gallagher might have subconsciously agreed to his old coworkers. Because it's been a huge, drastic change for like a year. And I feel like that's around the time Crystal Dynamics probably showed up. Because they just recently got announced. You know, they didn't say that when it first happened. I'm not saying that they're buying them. I think they might end up buying them, especially now, since they lost it. I'm just saying that I feel like a good reason that probably happened that people aren't talking about is you got people at Crystal Dynamics that have the same title as people at the initiative. I think people feel like they were getting their voices heard. I feel like there's a lot of stuff going on over there. And look, I'm not saying that that's exactly what happened, but I am saying this is one of the only times we've ever seen a company or a developer such as big as Crystal Dynamics helping a first-party studio company as well. And it's just like, it's weird. I'm not going to say it's like the end of the world. Here's the thing. Microsoft owns 30 plus studios. So yes, I'm counting the Activision. There's no way that doesn't get approved at this time. Even the CEO of Microsoft said he doesn't think it's going to get blocked. So assuming that goes through, Microsoft owns 30 plus studios. If you guys feel like 30 plus studios are going to be on their game 100% of the time, you're sadly mistaken. There's going to be some rebels in the bunch. There's just going to be some rebels in the bunch.
Addict, let me ask you something though. You don't think that this speaks to like leadership? I said it before, but this kind of speaks to leadership. And let me tell you why.
Leadership.
Microsoft.
Hold up one second. Leadership to The initiative or leadership to Microsoft?
To the initiative,
Okay.
right? The initiative is the Microsoft founded studio. As you know, they created it, they built it, they own it. However, Activision is something Blizzard. That's something that's already in-house. Square. I know they don't own Square, but like these are already other ones that are already in-house. Bethesda's the one that can run itself. So it seems to me that Microsoft is cool at buying the studios and letting them run how they run with the culture being the culture how it is with an Activision. Well, maybe not Activision with the Bethesda, right? Let's use them as an example. But when it comes to their own thing, it's like it's like they don't know which way is up in terms of like time management and stuff like that. So it looks bad. It looks bad for Microsoft. This looks really bad for Microsoft. For Microsoft Game Studios, for Matt Booty and all of them. It looked bad for them knowing that all their people left and they had to bring in Crystal Dynamics to help.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it looked bad, man.
And even at that time, if you go back and you look, I'm sure we did an Addict Show on that. Like we said it back then, like this isn't normal. Like this doesn't happen like this. Like, and I feel like, does this speak bad on the initiative? Yes. Clearly something needs to be done over there. I don't know if clearly they were saying that might be a soft reboot. So they might have restart the whole damn game. If you're going to restart the game, make it a third-person cover game. Please. For the love of God. Make it a third-person cover stealth action adventure game.
And before you read that super chat, while you at it, get help from the coalition. God, please get help from the coalition.
Don't get help from the coalition. Don't listen
sir, listen to me, sir.
Don't listen to me, sir.
Man.
We don't need help from the coalition.
Yes, you do.
Okay, buy Crystal Dynamics, merge them with the initiative, because clearly Daryl Gallagher needs to work with Crystal Dynamics because he left the company, ends up bringing the company on to help them. Something's with that. So you merge those two companies together, because I personally feel like Square Enix don't want that company anymore. Like they're just like, oh, you're gonna cost us money. We're gonna pawn you off on Microsoft for a couple years. Go work on Perfect Dark. It's like they're being punished. Go work on someone else's stuff. You're no longer able to work on your own stuff. It's just like, look, if you could get that from them, merge those studios together, and focus on making a Perfect Dark that's a third person. Because look, we got a lot of first person stuff, Microsoft. So let's be real here. I'm always advocate on, I love first person stuff, but we do got a lot of third person stuff. And Cognito, if his fame is just one, forget just one. Let's have like 3, 4. Like, you got 30 plus studios. You can easily make a couple. Now, I'm not for having a studio like Obsidian make it. I don't want them making it. I don't want Bethesda Software make it. I don't want Exile Studios make it. I don't want none of the studios that I love making a third person. I want them to make what they make, because they make those RPGs good. But the Coalition, they're making, obviously, they're making Gears. Then you have Compulsion making one. You have Hellblade. They're making Ninja Theory's making Hellblade. We need to make sure there's a balance. Now, as far as what's going on with the initiative, it looks bad on them. I will say the initiative needs something done to them. Now, maybe it's already being done. We just don't know it. Maybe this has been something in the works, and they've slowly started restructuring the way the game goes, because it wasn't going. Look, sometimes when stuff's happening, there's change in leaderships going on, and people just don't get along. I know from experience of talking to certain people, when other people take over, it's not like working with your friends anymore, because your friends are gone. So you leave. Yeah. Now, I don't know if that's going on here. I don't know. I don't keep track of that stuff. And to be honest with you, I don't care about Perfect Dark. Game could get canceled. It wouldn't bother me. So,
what's up, Smooth?
What's up, Smooth? I don't know what he's saying 100% of that. But, all right. So, but as far as first party studios, I don't think there's an issue there. I think 343 is having issues, clearly. And I think a lot of that has to do with I think the game such as Halo came out a little bit hot. I don't think it was supposed to come out the way it did. And I think it should have been delayed. And when you're behind the 8 ball on the initial game, obviously you're going to be behind the 8 ball when the game comes out. So I think they got stuff to do there. Maybe they need to hire some contractors and just make maps. Like, they need to hire a whole team, like a team of 30 or 40. Go out there, remake the Halo 1, 2, 3, and 4 maps, and let's get like 10 maps out by the end of the season. That's what I would do if I was Halo. I don't run studios like that either. So it is what it is. Kid Smooth said he voted no. Look, Smooth. All right. I know Planet Xbox is on Wednesdays. All right. But I can assure you, Smooth, we will be done by 8 to 9 o'clock. We won't be done
by 7:30. I gotta let my dogs in, sir.
Yeah, well, you can go let your dogs in any time. That's fine.
No, that's a hassle. No, that's gonna take a minute. But go ahead.
Smooth, we're not gonna step on Planet Xbox. All right. There's other podcasts I have no problem stepping on, but I'm not stepping on your podcast.
Those are addicts' words, not mine. I ain't finna step on nobody.
Look, man. There's sometimes your homie, man, your close friend. I ain't gonna put a podcast during your time slot. It's just, I feel like it's rude.
Thank God.
But
Thank God.
But when it comes to like other podcasts, look, sometimes it is what it is. Like, I can't schedule Addict Show around everyone's show. Then I would never have a time slot.
You know what the funny thing is? I guess we're gonna wrap up with this perfect dark topic anyway. Mm-hmm. The funny thing is, I don't really see anybody during Wednesdays. Like, the only person who I see during Wednesdays, but his time difference is different from ours, is Dutch, Wandering Dutch, But his time difference, they over across the pond and all that, so their time difference is like way different. They come on at like 2:00 for like the midweek matchup and all that. That might be the only one that I'm aware of. I could be wrong though.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, when it comes to this, that's why I go early, because I don't want to step on anyone. I do my best to make sure everyone flourishes. Like, I really do. Yeah. I don't want to step on people's podcasts. We go at 5 p.m. You guys realize I went to bed at 2. I work nights.
Sir.
Like, so I go above and beyond to make sure that this podcast works for everyone. So we're probably going to move it to Wednesday at 5 p.m. because I feel like that works better for everyone. But Smooth, I'm not going to step on Planet Xbox. So, all right. Let me go back before Smooth derailed the whole podcast. I think that Bethesda's fine because Bethesda knows how to manage themselves pretty well. I think Activision's going to be fine, obviously, because Activision manages itself pretty well. And I think Matt Booty's doing his job. Now, if the studios Matt Booty is supervising start pushing out duds, then maybe he needs to be replaced. I don't know. Because I don't feel like we have enough information. We haven't had enough games released to really have an opinion on that. Like,
yeah, that's too early.
Wasteland came out highly rated. Sure, that wasn't directly under Microsoft. Only the tail end of that was under Microsoft. Psychonauts, same thing. But they still gave them money and time to make these products better. So until I see that quality drop, I'm not going to go out and say Matt Booty's not doing his job. When you have 30 plus studios, some of them are going to get behind on stuff. Some of them are going to have, rocky development cycles. Not everything's going to be perfect, especially when you keep expanding your studios and your portfolio. You're going to have some people that mess up. It's just what it is. Hopefully Microsoft will correct the shit with 343, Rare with Everwild, and the Initiative with whatever's going on. I think the Initiative's best point of view is just to stay low and try their hardest to get Crystal Dynamics. Because I really do feel like if they're able to get Crystal Dynamics and merge them, I feel like that will solve a lot of Initiative's issues. Regardless of the people leaving, people leave all the time. Now, this is a little bit more concerning because a lot of people are leaving. But at the same time, we got to be realistic here. We don't know what happened behind closed doors on this, and we're missing a lot of variables. For instance, we're missing what the relationship between Crystal Dynamics and this place is. But I will agree with everyone. Something needs to be done over there. I don't know what it is. I can't tell you. I don't run a studio. But what I can tell you is what we're seeing isn't normal. People don't leave studios at this high of a magnitude. Now, maybe this is the original crew and they started losing people of the gauntlet and then they didn't feel comfortable being there. And then there could be a power struggle between Crystal Dynamics and the Initiative, and Crystal's winning. So, because Crystal Dynamics, we got to keep in mind, Crystal is, I'm not saying Crystal. Crystal sounds really crazy. Crystal Dynamics is a veteran studio that probably moves as a team way better than the Initiative does. So they're probably going to be able to contribute more than all the Initiative combined. Because they move as a team. They've been working on games.
Well, yeah, and I am mean to cut you off, but yeah, like you talk about, like, that's like a chemistry thing. That's like, yo, we know these people so well, like we know how each other's gonna move in terms of everything. Like, you know, it's just like what you and I do. Like, yeah, things was a little shaky in the beginning, but things are progressively over time getting a hell of a lot better than they were from when we first started. So yeah, that's gonna be a thing, man. I'm gonna know how my brother's moving, you know, more than this other person over here from this other company. And you know, whether it's intentional or not, like, yo, that's just a thing. Like, if the island would step somewhere and, you know, you guys are, let's say, with somebody else, like, y'all, of course, y'all gonna have the chemistry to move about because y'all been around each other so long. So yeah, so that's definitely a thing as well. I got a theory, and I don't know how, maybe I sound crazy. You tell me if I'm bugging at it. I feel like when you sign on for a project, you should stay for the duration of that project. And I kind of feel like you should have to sign paperwork behind that. Unless things are going really bad.
Maybe
what's up?
Not make them sign paperwork, but like make them sign paperwork like, look, like if you want to leave, you can leave. We're not going to make you stay here. But upon completion of this project, you can get a nice bonus. And I think that...
they do that now, right?
Do they, though? We're always being told people getting gypped out of bonuses and stuff. You know, some companies tie bonus to like Metacritic score. I don't know if that stuff happens anymore, but it's just like, maybe if you offered people good money to stay, they would stay. Because I do understand what you're saying. From when you have developers leaving mid-cycle, you're gonna have constant hiccups because that person there that was in charge of something in that project, he's gone now. So you're gonna have person showing up. He's got to be up to date on what's going on. Sure, they can promote from within, but then that person, he was doing something before he got promoted. So now that job's not being done. It's just a domino effect. They need to be better on that. They need to be very vocal with all their studios. I do feel like maybe there might be a little bit of control that's not being done. Microsoft needs to get a good balance in terms of, we're going to be lenient with you. There's a difference between creative freedom and freedom. They're giving them too much freedom, but they still have creative freedom. Just because you have creative freedom does not mean you can't meet deadlines.
Facts. Yeah, that was one of the things I said in the very beginning. Like, yo, that's cool that you got that type of freedom, but you gotta have like these stopgaps, and you gotta meet these goals to the ultimate goal, which is finishing the game and make sure it's coming out good.
Maybe Microsoft's being a lot more lenient on these first games coming out because they know they're important. I would say that all of these games have very huge criteria that Microsoft needs to hit out the gate. And maybe they're being so lenient with them that they're like, look, push out Halo a year later. And it still came out, but Microsoft can't keep delaying a game forever. Halo Infinite was definitely a game that needed more time, but I wouldn't say it was an incomplete game. It was a game that was missing features. But I feel like an incomplete game and a game missing features are two different conversations. And it is what it is. They need to do better over there. And I hope they do better, because Microsoft at the top of their game pushes Sony to do stuff they wouldn't normally do, pushes Nintendo to do stuff they wouldn't normally do. We need more of that, man. But anything last you want to say about the perfect dart situation, man? Because it's looking real hot over there, Hustle.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I do. I think the perfect character for a Joanna Dark redesign is Ruby Soho, who's a wrestler over there at AEW. If you know, you know. I kind of feel like she can be that. Also, look, they've made third-person games before. If you really gonna flip it, make it a third-person game. But if you're not, like, yo, Addict, when we were talking, like, when the narrative design leaves, I'm like, yo, it's a reboot. You can just retell the first story. So, like, that's stuff like that kind of, as you were talking, I just thought about it. I was like, yo, if it's a reboot, then you already got the story that's there. But I don't know, man.
And people have this narrative that the initiative is like the engine and they work with another studio to be like the crew.
Okay.
And
gotcha.
Like after Crystal Dynamics, their next game, they'd partner with another team. And that's cool if that's actually what's happening here. I'm very skeptical on that opinion because I feel like if that's what was happening here, there would be no reason for these people to leave the initiative. Because they know that if there is an issue between Crystal and the initiative, they're leaving after this game. Why would you leave? I don't buy that. Like, I feel like there's a lot of speculation going on, but no solid proof to back those claims up.
That'd be one hell of a support studio. That'd be like a super lit support studio. Yeah. But I wouldn't sign up for that either, though. To keep it real with you, I wouldn't sign up for that. But that's just me. That's just me. What's up, man?
I do. True. But if that isn't true, and they do this soft reboot and they rebuild the initiative, maybe that's something you should look at because I feel like that's unique. Imagine partnering with a new studio every time you make a game. You have a fresh perspective, but the thing is, something like that's never been done. So you're going to have to find a good middle ground because if the initiative has leads and whatever studio they work with has leads, there's going to be a lot of clashing. Like, it's got to be one of those things where the initiative is like, this is the game I want. I don't care what the other people have to say. We'll take input. We might change things because we like what they say, but we can't change drastic features of games because the company that's making it doesn't want and they don't feel like it's good for them. We got a $5 super chat from Dawn Otaku. Delayed games from them won't matter by next year when they have too many games ready and they have to internally delay certain games to make room. I agree. There's going to be a point where that's happening. 100% agree.
Yep.
So I think that's pretty much all we got, man. And, this week's been a little bit better on news. We had some little juicy news, man. Hopefully next week we got good news, not bad news. It's one of those things, man. We got to talk about it. It is what it is. My saying is, if Microsoft don't want us talking about the troubles of the initiative, then they should make sure there's no troubles at initiative. So, Hustle, what's going on, man? You still streaming? Tell the realm what's going on with you this week.
I am still streaming, and the second, I have a job situation. I'm transferring from one job to another one. The second that settles itself out, I will be streaming a hell of a lot more often and doing the show on Wednesdays as well. Nothing should change. I think my hours are still the same, so I can tell y'all that's not a problem. Elden Ring this weekend. Friday, I'm gonna take a nap. Whatever. I'm wake back up. I'm being this joint green screen shouty. I got a new light. Yeah. I noticed during the podcast my camera keeps shaking. Right. I'm gonna get an Elgato ring light.
I feel like I'm too light. Like, I need to.
You look a little blown out, but that's fine because you can just curl one of your lights and give you a dramatic shadow effect. My camera where it just keeps shaking. But I'm gonna get an Elgato ring light and hopefully it'll be a hell of a lot more stable. Right now I'm just using the old ring light and that's just what it is. It's cool to be back. It's cool to be back and to be able to create content and everything. I look forward to streaming a lot more, at least 3 times a week. Hopefully it'll be Monday, not Wednesday, but it'll be like Monday, Thursday, Saturday, something like that. I'll figure that out. I will figure that out on my own. But I definitely look forward to streaming more. I'm coming back with the YouTube videos too. I didn't want to say nothing right now because I kind of want to figure out what I want to do, but it probably won't be news based since we cover the news stuff here. So I kind of want to be able to do something different. Oh, also, Addict, the reason why I asked you to end at 7:30, I'll probably make a wrestling channel in the very near future.
Channel. That's interesting.
Yeah. I'm rocking with AEW. I've been rocking with AEW since a nice little minute now. So I've been keeping up with it. So I kind of want to do wrestling reviews, and I don't think I want to put it on my channel. I think I want to make a separate one for that. So I got all that stuff going. I'm gonna get some graphics and I'm gonna pay for all that in due time. Summertime should be kind of lit, and I should be very busy. Let's just put it that way. But thank y'all for joining me. Hey, real quick, Addict, can we drop Kid Smooth's channel in here so that so they can go ahead and pull up on Smooth when Planet Xbox comes on tonight?
Yeah.
And Smooth, if you're still in here, is Planet Xbox coming on next? I think you missed last week.
Yeah. Last week was a bad week. Give a little bit of a we lost a huge person in the community, Kyle L from Tick Network. He's a very positive dude. And what I like about him is I feel like we have too much. I want to be positive about everything going around. I don't ever want to talk negative about stuff. And I feel like Cal was always a good mixture of both. Like, there's a difference between being positive and just trying to hope for a good outcome of a situation, and forcing positivity on every situation. And I feel like sometimes people do the latter a little bit. Like, there could be good situations that happen without feeling like you have to force it on people. But, that is what it is. Rest in peace to Cal. He was a great dude, and he'll definitely be missed. Talked to the dude like a week ago, man. Playing Elden Ring, and that's the last time I talked to him.
That was sudden, man. He's actually the reason, before we edit, can you get Level 1's information? He's the reason how I know about Fame, Floor Hugger, Dallas, and Baron over there at Level 1. And I don't know, like I had seen Kal-El with, in fact, I think he was the reason how I found out about Kid Smooth too, because wasn't Smooth over there with them in Once Upon a Time? Or am I wrong? Or am I getting him confused with somebody else?
Actually, we was over that one point in time with him too.
Yep. Yes. I mean, so he's given, well, I would say given birth, but he's definitely one of the ones who's have assisted a lot of people in their journey, man. And I mean, he'll be missed. Like, that's not, it's never easy when one of our people like passes away, because it's always gonna hit us a little harder than usual. It's gonna hurt. From what I understand, he left behind a wife and a child, and a young child. So that's never easy.
I hate that, man. And what I will say, we messy 24/7. This community messy 24/7. It never ends. And it's been that way since pretty much I came into the community. I think it was like 2014, like heavy into the community. We got a $5 super chat from Don Otaku. Most of the best games I played had dev issues, so I don't care until the game is released. Definitely understand that, man. Definitely understand that. But when there's something serious happens with this community, people put that stuff to the side for the most part. And I respect that. We might be messy with each other 24/7. We really messy. But when it comes to like serious stuff, like real life stuff, I do see the majority of the community put that aside. But anyway, as of right now, I don't know if we're going to be Wednesday next week. Talk a little bit more. I do got to talk to Cognito too, because obviously it's on the channel. I don't think he's going to have an issue if I want to move it to Wednesday. But I appreciate everyone for coming through, man. Keep in mind, we are doing an ILP community night. Hustle, you are welcome if we play a game that's more than 4 people. Right now, it seems like the poll choices on Twitter is going to be WWE, which I don't know why. I don't know why you guys want us to play this game so damn bad.
I hear it's good.
But it's been requested like 5 times. Because how it's going is, if you're a member of the channel, you're picking the games. We're picking 4 of those games that we feel comfortable playing, and we're going to let the rest of Twitter, of our audience at Twitter, choose between those games. So we got WWE, which I'm not looking forward to that, but WWE. Then we got Among Us, which I think a good game of Among Us would be fun. And then Halo and Overcooked. So those are the 4 games that's going to go on the chat, on the poll. I'll probably do that after this podcast. So, curious what you guys have to say in the comment section, what you think we should play. Put it in the comment section after the podcast. But, thanks everyone coming through here, man. We had up to like 170, 180 people, especially since we switched days. That's really good. That means a lot of you really mess with us. Because I feel like that's the majority of our viewership was that. But like I said, we're going to be taking the artwork. We're going to be updating in the next couple weeks. I think you guys are going to like what I have going for, man. I think you guys are going to like it. But until next week, on a Wednesday or Tuesday, I don't know yet. Probably Wednesday, but we're going to get there eventually, man. Work with us. This is Addict and Hustle, and we're out.